The rain hammered down like bullets on Interstate 90, somewhere between Seattle and Spokane. Rowan Ashford stood on the shoulder of the highway, 8 months pregnant, soaking wet, watching the taillights of her own SUV disappear into the storm. Her husband, Kellen, had just thrown her out. Not asked, not suggested. Thrown. And his mother, Drusilla, had laughed the entire time. "Walk home, you pathetic cow." Drusilla had screamed through the window. "My son deserves better than a nobody like you." Kellen didn't even look back. He was too busy texting his mistress, Vera, a bottle-blonde real estate agent with fake everything and real entitlement. They were on their way to pick her up, right now, while his pregnant wife stood in the rain. But here's what Kellen didn't know. That nobody he just abandoned, she owned the third largest automotive empire in North America. $47 billion in assets, 17 manufacturing plants, and she was about to make sure he never sat in a car he didn't have to beg for again. Before we get into how she destroyed him, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe, because this story is about to get wild. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Now, let me take you back. Back to when this whole nightmare started. Rowan Vale, that was her name before she became Mrs. Ashford. She built Vale Motors from her garage in Portland when she was 19. No investors, no handouts, just raw talent, sleepless nights, and a brain that understood engines the way most people understand breathing. By 25, she had her first factory. By 30, she was a ghost legend in the auto industry. The mysterious EO who never did interviews, never showed her face, and ran everything through proxies and her tight-lipped assistant, Sable. When she met Kellen at a farmer's market in Olympia 3 years ago, he was charming, funny. He sold artisan coffee beans and talked about dreams. She liked that he didn't care about money, didn't ask what she did, didn't pry, so she didn't tell him. She wanted to be loved for her, not her empire, not her billions, just Rowan, the girl who liked old movies and blueberry pancakes. They married 6 months later. Small ceremony. His family came. His mother, Drusilla, his younger brother, Thorne, his cousin, Lysandra. All of them worked regular jobs. Drusilla was a shift manager, a local car part supplier. Thorne did sales for a mid-tier dealership. Lysandra worked admin at a logistics company. They looked at Rowan like she was ordinary, a random girl their golden boy Kellen had settled for. And Rowan let them think that. She wore plain clothes, drove a normal car, worked remotely as a consultant. She played the role. But Kellen, he started changing. Month 6, he stopped asking about her day. Month 12, he started texting someone named Vera. Month 18, he brought Vera to family dinners and introduced her as a friend. Drusilla loved Vera, called her elegant, classy, the kind of woman Kellen deserves. Rowan said nothing. She watched. She waited. She told herself it would pass. But then came the pregnancy. And everything got worse. Drusilla moved in 2 weeks after Rowan announced she was expecting. To help, she said. But really? To torture. She criticized everything. The way Rowan cooked. The way she dressed. The way she walked. "You're swollen like a balloon," Drusilla sneered one morning. "Kellen must be embarrassed to be seen with you." Kellen didn't defend her. He just sipped his coffee and scrolled his phone. Vera started showing up at the house. Openly. She'd sit on Kellen's lap during movie nights. She'd kiss his cheek. She'd smirk at Rowan's belly and say things like, "Wow, you're really big, huh?" And Kellen, he let it happen. One night, Rowan asked him, "Do you even want this baby?" He didn't look up from his phone. "I don't know, Rowan. Do I?" That was the moment she knew. This marriage was over. But she wasn't going to leave. Not yet. Not until she'd seen enough to know exactly who he was. So she endured. She swallowed the insults. She ignored Vera's presence. She smiled at Drusilla's cruelty. And in the background, through encrypted calls with Sable, she quietly prepared. She updated her will. She moved assets. She layered legal protections. She got ready. And then came the day on Interstate 90. It was supposed to be a family trip to Spokane. Drusilla wanted to visit her sister. Thorne tagged along. Rowan sat in the back, belly pressed against the seatbelt, uncomfortable but silent. Kellen was driving. He kept glancing at his phone. Then it buzzed. A text. Rowan saw the name, Vera. He read it, smiled, and suddenly pulled onto the shoulder of the highway. "What are you doing?" Rowan asked. He turned around. His face was cold. "Get out." Rowan blinked. "What?" "I said get out." Drusilla cackled. "Oh, this is perfect." Rowan's heart pounded. "Kellen, I'm 8 months pregnant. We're in the middle of nowhere." He opened the door. "Reach back. Grab her purse. Threw it onto the wet pavement. I don't care. Get out." Thorne looked uncomfortable, but said nothing. Rowan stared at him. "You're serious. Dead serious. Vera's waiting 20 miles up the road. I'm done pretending." He leaned closer. "You're boring, Rowan. You're plain. You're nothing. And I'm tired of looking at you." Drusilla clapped her hands. "Finally, my boy's got a spine." Rowan didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just looked at Kellen, really looked at him, and thought, "You have no idea what you just did." She unbuckled, stepped out into the rain. Kellen slammed the door. Drusilla rolled down the window and yelled, "Enjoy the walk, sweetheart. Maybe a truck will pick you up." Then she laughed. High, cruel, sharp. The SUV roared off. Rowan stood there, rain soaking through her coat, her baby kicking inside her, cars zipping past, spraying water, and she pulled out her phone. One call. That's all it took. "Sable, it's time." 15 minutes later, 3 black SUVs pulled up, not rentals. Custom-built Vail Motors prototypes, bulletproof, self-driving, worth $2 million each. Sable stepped out, umbrella in hand. "Ma'am." Rowan got in. Warm, dry, leather seats that adjusted to her body. A tablet waiting with live updates on her companies. "Status?" Rowan asked. Sable handed her a file. Ashford Family Employment Records. Drusilla Ashford, shift manager at Creston Auto Parts. Thorne Ashford, sales associate at Pinnacle Motors. Lysandra Ashford, admin, Vanguard Logistics. All 3 companies are subsidiaries of Vail Motors. Rowan smiled. "Cold, calm, terminate them. Immediately. Done." Sable tapped her tablet. Effective in 60 seconds. Rowan leaned back. "And Kellen, his coffee business uses a fleet lease through Strath Automotive Financing. Also ours. I've initiated repossession. His credit lines, co-signed through Drusilla's employee benefits, are frozen. His lease on the house, owned by a Vail Motors real estate holding. Eviction notice sent." Rowan closed her eyes. "Good." Sable hesitated. "And Vera Loron?" Rowan's eyes opened. Sharp. "What about her?" "She works for Meridian Realty. Their top client is Vail Motors. $600 million in industrial property contracts. If we pull those, pull them." Rowan's voice was ice. "And make sure her boss knows exactly why." Sable nodded. "Understood." The convoy turned around, headed toward Seattle, toward Vail Tower, toward the empire Kellen never knew existed. And Rowan? She didn't feel sad. She didn't feel angry. She felt free. By the time Kellen picked up Vera and checked into that boutique hotel in Spokane, his world was already burning. He just didn't know it yet. His phone would start ringing in about 3 hours. Drusilla's first, then Thorne's, then the bank, then the landlord, and by tomorrow morning, he'd be on his knees. If you want to see Kellen's complete destruction, and trust me, it is thorough, smash that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment telling me what you think Rowan should do next. And hit the bell so you don't miss the finale. Because what she does to him next, it's the kind of revenge people write books about. Quick recap. Kellen Ashford threw his 8 months pregnant wife, Rowan, out of a car on a rainy highway so he could pick up his mistress, Vera. His mother laughed. His family cheered. They called her worthless. Bad move, because Rowan wasn't just any wife. She was the CEO of Vail Motors, a $47 billion automotive empire, and she just made one phone call that would erase Kellen's entire existence. Now, let's watch it all fall apart. Kellen and Vera were in bed at the Opal Grand Hotel in Spokane when his phone started ringing. He ignored it the first time, the second, the third. But by the ninth call, all from his mother, he answered. "Mom, what?" "Kellen." Drusilla's voice was shrill, panicked. "They fired me. Security walked me out. They said my position was eliminated. No severance. Nothing." Kellen sat up. "What? Who fired you?" "I don't know. Corporate called. They said it came from the top." "Kellen, I have bills. I have—" Another call clicked in. Thorne. "Kel, man, I just got canned. Like, immediately. They took my badge, my car. What the hell is going on?" Kellen's stomach dropped. "Wait, you two." Then Lysandra called. Same story. Fired. Escorted out. No explanation. Vera sat up confused. "What's happening?" Kellen didn't answer. He was staring at a new email. Subject: Lease termination notice. Dear Mr. Ashford, your residential lease at 4400 Birchwood Lane has been terminated effective immediately due to breach of terms. You have 48 hours to vacate. Failure to comply will result in legal action. Sincerely, Cascade Property Group of Vale Motors Holding. Kellen's hand shook. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't. His business phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello. Mr. Ashford, this is Strath Automotive Financing. We're calling to inform you that your fleet lease has been revoked. All vehicles must be returned by noon tomorrow. Your credit line has also been suspended." Kellen's voice cracked. "On what grounds?" "Failure to meet updated credit requirements." "Have a good evening, sir." Click. Vera's phone rang. She answered, listened. Her face went white. "I'm fired," she whispered. "My boss said we lost our biggest client. Vale Motors. He said it's my fault. He said—" Her voice broke. "He said I should have kept my personal life professional." Kellen stared at her. Vale Motors. That name. Why did that sound? And then it hit him. Rowan's last name before they married. Vale. No, that was impossible. She was a consultant. She worked from home. She wore Old Navy jeans. She couldn't be. His phone buzzed. A text. Unknown number. "Enjoying your evening, Kellen." Then another. "You should check the news." He opened his browser. Searched Vale Motors CO. And there she was. A photo from a shareholder meeting 5 years ago. Rowan, standing at a podium in front of the Vale Motors logo. The headline read, "Mysterious auto mogul Rowan Vale expands empire to $47 billion. Another photo. Her shaking hands with the governor. Another. Her at a factory opening. She wasn't a consultant. She was one of the richest, most powerful people in the country. And he'd thrown her out of a car. Kellen drove through the night, back to Seattle. Straight to Vale Tower, a gleaming 60-story giant of steel and glass in the heart of downtown. Security stopped him at the lobby. "I need to see Rowan Vale." The guard didn't blink. "Do you have an appointment?" "I'm her husband." The guard checked his tablet. "No Kellen Ashford on the approved list. You'll need to leave, sir." "I'm not leaving until—" "Sir, if you don't exit the building, we'll call the police." Kellen's phone rang. Sable's number. He answered. "Mr. Ashford, Miss Vale will see you. 62nd floor. Elevator C." The elevator ride felt like falling. When the doors opened, he stepped into an office that looked like it cost more than his entire life. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Marble floors. A desk made of black walnut. And behind it, Rowan. She looked different. Hairstyled. Wearing a tailored gray suit. Calm. Powerful. Like she'd never been the woman folding his laundry. She didn't stand. Didn't smile. "Sit." Kellen sat. Rowan leaned back. "You have 2 minutes." "Rowan, his voice cracked. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know who you were." "Would it have mattered?" "Yes, of course." She tilted her head. "So you would have treated me better if you knew I was rich?" Kellen's mouth opened. Closed. Rowan continued. "You threw me out of a car, Kellen. On a highway. While I was pregnant. Your mother laughed. You didn't even look back." Her voice was quiet. Deadly. You called me nothing. I was angry. You were cruel. She stood, walked to the window. For 3 years, I watched you. I gave you every chance to be the man I thought you were, and you failed. Every single time. Rowan, please. She turned. Your mother? Fired. Your brother? Fired. Vera? Blacklisted. Your business? Bankrupt. Your house? Gone. I didn't just take your life, Kellen. I erased it. Kellen's eyes filled with tears. I'll do anything. I'll change. You had your chance. She pressed a button on her desk. Sabo, send them in. The door opened. 2 lawyers entered. One placed a folder in front of Kellen. Divorce papers, Rowan said. You get nothing. No assets. No custody. I'm filing a restraining order. You have 24 hours to sign, or I'll bury you in legal fees you can't afford. Kellen's hand shook. You can't do this. Rowan smiled. Cold. Final. I already did. Kellen left Vale Tower broken. He called Vera. She didn't answer. She'd blocked him. Her career was ruined. She wanted nothing to do with him. He called his mother. She screamed at him, blamed him, hung up. He tried calling Thorne. Voicemail. He ended up at a motel off I-5. Cheap, dirty, the kind of place he used to drive past and feel superior to. Now it was all he could afford. He sat on the bed, stared at his phone, at old photos of Rowan, smiling, happy, before he destroyed everything. A knock on the door. He opened it. Sable stood there. She handed him an envelope. What's this? A gift from Ms. Vale. Inside was a check. $50,000. And a note. This is more than you deserve. Use it to start over. But hear me clearly, Kellen. You will never see me again. You will never see our child. You threw us away. Now live with it. Sable turned to leave. Wait, Kellen whispered. Is she okay? Sable looked back. She's better than okay. She's free. The door closed, and Kellen was alone. Rowan gave birth to a girl. Bryn, healthy, beautiful, perfect. She raised her in a penthouse overlooking Elliott Bay, surrounded by people who loved her, protected, cherished. Kellen tried reaching out. Emails, letters, all returned. Blocked. He found work eventually. A warehouse job. Nothing special. He lived small, quiet, haunted by what he'd lost. Drusilla never forgave him. She moved to Arizona, stopped speaking to him. Vera married someone else, a dentist, never looked back. And Rowan? She expanded Vale Motors, opened new plants, hired thousands, became a legend. She never remarried, didn't need to. She had everything she needed. Here's the truth. You never really know someone until you see how they treat you when they think you're powerless. Kellen saw a humble, pregnant woman and decided she was disposable. He didn't know she was a queen in disguise. And by the time he figured it out, the kingdom was already closed. If this story hit you hard, smash that like button. Subscribe for more stories like this. Comment below. Would you have forgiven Kellen? Or would you have done what Rowan did? Because revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just justice. And sometimes justice is ice cold. Yendi.